There, I'm First Warn 5, Meteorologist Mike Nicco. Hopefully you had a great weekend, enjoyed the wonderful weather. Yeah, today wasn't quite as warm as yesterday when we hit 75, but 61 with all that sunshine, not too bad. Now, we have some pattern changes coming this week, and it's going to offer us several chances of wet weather. So we'll take a look at those. We'll also take a look at some of the better days to be outside because temperatures will be warmer than average all week. So let's start right now by taking a quick look ahead. We'll start with tomorrow. Monday, we're looking at spotty showers at best, but Thursday and Friday, the first warn for widespread and heavier showers, and not surprised if we hear a clap of thunder. We may hear a clap of thunder tomorrow, but that's going to be even more remote than Thursday and Friday. That's why we've got the first one on Thursday, Friday, and we've had it there since last week. So we've been first warning you that there could be some issues and continue to see that. Let's kind of go through. It's a beautiful night out there on our Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing camera. Pretty clear sky, and with that clear sky, we're going to cool down to 41 degrees. Tomorrow morning, but clouds will quickly gather as we head through the morning into the afternoon. That's going to bring a 30% chance of some lighter showers. Thing you'll notice tomorrow also is we got a 15-mile-per-hour wind that could gust up to 25. So there's going to be a little bit of a bite in the air. Won't feel quite as comfortable as today because of the wind, because it will feel a little less warm, or because of the lack of sunshine. Let me show you the obstacle to tomorrow's rain, and then we'll roll through the radar. Remember, we talked about how dry it can be when the dew point, the actual measure of the moisture in the atmosphere. The lower the dew point, the less moisture is in the atmosphere. Well, we're down there around thirsty skin and scorched sinuses. If we stay down here another day or so, you would probably start to feel the effects. But as we head into the overnight hours, you could see the moisture returning from southeast or southwest to northeast across the state. That is going to set us up for one round in the morning as the moisture comes in, and another round in the evening when a cold front blows on through. So your rain chances are pretty quiet through the morning commute, and then we have a chance as we head around lunchtime, maybe 10, 11, 12, for some light showers. Air is going to be super, super dry under this, so it's going to be hard. They're going to have a hard time penetrating that dry air and reaching the ground. So showers, that's being very generous, more likely sprinkles. And then most of the day is pretty quiet. Just a lot of cloud cover, some peaks of sunshine here and there. And as we head into the evening, we ramp up with that 30 to 40% chance. But it's when most of us are going to be home and already looking forward to getting to bed and getting a good night's sleep before Tuesday rolls around. Let me show you what future radar is showing. And for the weather enthusiasts out there, this is the 0Z HER, the extended, and you can see rainfall amounts are just not impressive whatsoever. Enough to wet the ground, enough to get some of this dust out of the air. We tried to open the windows in our house, but all the dust flying around in the air, nope, closed it right back down because I didn't feel like dusting the house. So the fresh air, dust, take your pick. That's kind of the way it goes at our house. So that's a look at how much rain. Now let's kind of get a timing for it. And there we are, 9 o'clock in the morning. We're through the morning commute. We're fine. If anything is starting to show up on the radar, which it will, because there will be moisture in the clouds, and it will show up, and it's going to be up there around 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 feet. That's where the cloud deck is going to be. That's where the moisture is going to be. So the radar will hit it, but below that, can it penetrate down there? So, sprinkles possible as the air is just too dry during the morning hours, and this continues to roll on up, and that's that leading edge of moisture we showed. And as we head through the afternoon, again, a spotty sprinkle here or there. You can see it's light green. There's nothing really all that impressive about it. The evening commute should be fine. Now, let's focus over Kansas City as we head to the 8, 9, 10 o'clock hour, and a cold front is going to be rolling through. A really weak cold front. It's more of just a convergence boundary, and you can see those showers and maybe a rumble of thunder, especially the way this one's looking around Interstate 70 and northward, so for the Northland in Kansas City. But of course, this can change. These could pop up anywhere along that cold front. It's just the energy is going to be greater the farther north you go, because you can see those lighter showers around Iowa, and the energy is going to be less the farther south you go, even though that's where the greater moisture and the warmer temperatures are going to be around Ottawa, Paola, Lacine, Garnett, Butler, Clinton over towards Warrensburg. So you need that energy to create those showers. This is going to move on. By midnight, it's starting to move into northeast Missouri, and it'll be gone. But it's not the only chance we have for wet weather. After Tuesday and all day Wednesday night, 30% chance. Quickly jumps to that 60 on Thursday. First warn, yep. Disruptive weather, possible, absolutely. Same thing on Friday. Rain maybe not as heavy, not as widespread, but still disruptive, and it's going to be significantly cooler Friday also. Let's break down your Monday. We're in the 40s through 7 o'clock. Already to 50. The breezes kick in, the clouds kick in. We're at 50 at 9 o'clock, mid-50s at 11 o'clock. Some low 60s for the entire afternoon. And you can see kind of a donut hole of just cloud cover after that late morning chance of sprinkles and then that evening chance of a shower and an isolated thunderstorm. Look how mild it's going to be tomorrow evening with those southeasterly winds, that cloud cover. We're going to hang out in the upper 50s. Remember, our high tomorrow, our average high tomorrow is 53 degrees. We'll still be well warmer than that as we head towards 9 o'clock. Now, I did mention some gusty winds, so if you are driving a high-profile vehicle during the afternoon hours, especially if you're driving more or less east to west, you're going to feel a little tug. You're going to feel a little push as it tries to push you to the north. The winds aren't overly aggressive, but 30 miles per hour, still something I wanted you to be aware of. All right, so here's a look at one model. Now, let me jump back. Let's go through the 7-day, and then we'll come back to that. And I'm going to pull different parts out of the 7-day. All right, so for Monday, we're going to pull out your rush hour. 41, dry, breezy. You are going to be fine. Let's see what Tuesday has to offer. 48 and 64. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny. That looks pretty nice. Tuesday's going to start mild, though, with that 48 degrees. That's going to be the winds and some of the leftover warmth from the day before. You're saying, Mike, but you said a cool front was moving through. That's more of a boundary, a convergence line, more than really cool air that's behind it, because we actually do warm up even with a wind shifting from the west-southwest to the northwest in the afternoon, about 5 to 10, so not nearly as breezy. With that sunshine and lower breezes, we should warm up to about 64 degrees. I really believe Tuesday's going to be the best day in the forecast. Wednesday's not going to be too bad. That 30% chance at night, but look at these temperatures during the day under a partly sunny sky. We're going to be in and out of the cloud cover. We're still hitting the low to mid 60s in most neighborhoods. Even look at the upper 60s to the south of Kansas City. I mean, we're looking at you right there. Lacine, Garnett, Butler. And how about those 68 degrees? Yeah, a nice day. It's Wednesday night into Thursday when we start to get that next stronger storm. Now, the first warn we have on Thursday and Friday, because we expect widespread showers, even some thunderstorms possible. There is a little bit of a discrepancy between our two medium range models. Now, I'm going to show you those coming up. That's what I almost showed you before. But I wanted to show you first the most aggressive one. This is the Euro. And this is the one that is going to bring the rain in as we head into Wednesday night. You can see already by 1 o'clock Thursday, there's some steady, light to maybe moderate rain right along Interstate 70. Again, this is going to fluctuate. This storm is off the west coast right now. It's going to meander through the mountains. It could lose its way. It could diverge its path or divert its path somewhere else. And that's exactly what we're seeing between the two models. So I wanted to show you the most aggressive one. Now, as we head towards the morning commute, yeah, you saw some yellows in there. You see the shield of wet weather spreading across more of our neighborhoods, impacting the morning commute. May get a little bit of a break in the midday and then another resurgence as we head into the evening commute. Again, possibly some disruptive weather, especially for outdoor activities, because the rain just keeps going and it gets heavier. Thursday evenings when we have a chance of those thunderstorms as a cold front will roll through. That is why we have the heavier rain on Thursday and the higher chance of wet weather. Friday, we're on the backside of the cold front. We're looking at some wraparound moisture. Temperatures dropping from the low 60s on Thursday to the low 60s Friday. And that system's going to lift to the north. And as it lifts to the north, it's taking that shield with it. It's still around Interstate 70 and northward as we head towards 5 o'clock. But even during the evening hours, we'll see a drying trend continue to move to the north. By the time we wake up Saturday morning, it's gone. And after a high of 54 Friday, we'll have increasing sunshine Saturday and about 52 degrees, which is exactly where we should be for this time of the year. And then going into Sunday, we'll have 36 and 56. Now, I'll come back to Sunday because I want to show you the Chiefs forecast. But while we still have it fresh in our mind, I want to show you the GFS and how it's so different than the Euro I just showed you. So here we are at the same time, 7 p.m. Wednesday, a lot of cloud cover. And as we roll through this, everything stays well to the south over the Ozarks as we head towards Thursday morning. Quite a difference, right? 100-mile difference or so, maybe 150-mile difference between where the heavier rain is setting up across southern Missouri in this one and where it was setting up right on Interstate 70 on the Euro. And as we head through Thursday, it starts to bubble up a little bit, but it's still having a hard time getting even up to Interstate 70 by Thursday evening. That is a significant difference from the Euro. That is not first warn worthy, but we're not completely buying into that right now. We have to let you know with the first warn what the highest option, or at least what is possibly the highest option of wet weather out of this system. So we're not going to take that down just because one model run of the GFS went a little rogue and says, I think I'm going to keep the system a lot farther south and push it through southern Missouri. What it does do is Thursday night into Friday, it starts to meander back to the north, and you can see the rain increasing as we head towards Friday morning and into Friday afternoon. And then by the time we get to Friday evening, it starts to dry out as we get on the back side of it. So that is more or less consistent with the Euro as far as the timing of the wraparound moisture moving out during the evening hours Friday. Now, the Euro also has about 2 inches of rain for us, whereas the GFS has about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. What we're going to settle on right now is this parameter, and this is what we're looking at. West of I-35 up to 1 inch, east of I-35 up to 1.5 inches. Okay, we're going to kind of go on, we're going to go with the more aggressive model, but we're going to go with a little bit less aggressive rainfall amounts. It's hard to get that much rain this time of the year. The air is just not that warm. There's just not a lot of moisture in the air. Now, the amount of moisture in the air is about 90% of what our highest average is. So there is going to be moisture in the air, and that's how we're going to get, those 1 to 1.5 inches totals. So that's a look at that system. Now, I promised you we'd wrap this up by taking a look at the Chiefs game on Sunday. Hey, we got to go back out there. We're 5-5. We're still in the playoff hunt. Wild card still well within reach. Got 7 games to go. If we go 6-1, what? We're 11-6. We go 5-2. We're 10-7. Not quite as impressive, but still possible. Colts, they're having a great year. They're coming. That's the problem when you go to the Super Bowl every year. You have such a hard schedule. But then again, who knew the Colts were going to be this good? So here's a look at the game. That should actually say Sunday. Sorry, it says Monday, and it should say at noon. Sorry. I need to fix that, and I will before we go on the air here in an hour. Yeah, we're going on at 10:46 tonight. But the numbers are true, and everything else is true. There's going to be a light breeze. It's going to be cold. When you're tailgating, it's going to be in the 40s. Kickoff at noon will be around 53. And if you're sitting in the sunshine, they'll be pretty comfortable with mid-50s. If you're sitting in the shade, might want to dress just a little bit warmer. But at least those winds will stay manageable throughout the game. So that 56 will feel like a 56. So I'm just going to pop on here real quick and say thanks for stopping by and checking out your Security Bank 7-day forecast. It's been a pleasure and an honor to bring this to you. Of course, as we get closer to Thursday and Friday, and we get the high resolution models to start picking up on those, we'll really be able to iron out the details and fine tune it. But right now, just plan for the potential for disruptive weather Thursday and Friday. And for tomorrow, sprinkles at best until the sun sets, and then we may get a shower or a rumble of thunder. Again, only about 30, maybe 40% at best. So once again, thanks again for joining me. Hope to see you tonight at 10:45 on the television, and have a great week.